Good morning, I am Adam Harris, and this is The Day Ahead. Don't forget to click subscribe below to receive daily market analysis videos and important alerts. On the economic calendar for today, there is only the US FOMC minutes out at 7 p.m., but this may still add some volatility. The currencies appear to be going largely sideways for today, but the commodities are enjoying some good moves on the back of the weaker US dollar. The global indices and equities are expected to consolidate briefly before resuming their upward trends. You can jump to any chapter by clicking on the time link in the description below. Starting off with the currencies today, and not actually a lot happening today as it happens. We've got the US dollar on the US dollar index between the 97 and 96 levels. It's broken below 96.50, so it actually had a much weaker day yesterday. And at the moment is currently trending and heading back down towards the 96 level. So expecting a weaker dollar today as well as a stronger euro. Euro dollar is expected back up in towards the moving averages and heading in towards a level of resistance. So expecting some reaction against those levels today. But for the most part, any of the key news today will be focused around the FOMC readings, which will be towards 7 p.m. this evening. And interesting here, looking at dollar yen, it has continued to head up now, but it's heading into that level of 111. As potential resistance, so expecting that to continue there, which indicates actually a stronger US dollar. So interesting to see that contradiction there as well. We also had a much stronger GBP, and so a lot of this actually leaning towards giving us a weaker dollar throughout March as well. And Aussie Kiwi, last one on my list for today, so there's no real setups occurring today. Aussie Kiwi just noting price heading back up into this level of support. So I'll be looking for a bearish candle over the next 24 to 48 hours, looking for a swing entry to the downside there. In the commodities on the move and looking at gold actually had a really good day yesterday, breaking free of the previous highs and breaking through that level of resistance and heading on up towards 1350. So it is now approaching a level of resistance and definitely overdue for a much bigger retracement. You'll see that also here. Price is constantly diverging with this momentum indicator. We still haven't produced a fresh high here, even though we're producing fresh highs and price action there. So just implying that it's very likely that we will have a reaction against that resistance level. And so expecting the same to happen here. Actually, as silver heads towards the previous high, likely to encounter some resistance towards 610 and 615. Palladium, on the other hand, has obviously continued. It's definitely also overdue for a retracement back into the moving averages or back into this level of resistance to test it for support. So that is quite nice. I consider my watch list potentially next week for a swing entry long. Then having a look at crude oil and Brent. Crude oil breaking just above the previous highs and then producing a bit of a swing high there. Overall, this looking relatively nice and bullish, but already encountering a little bit of resistance there, whereas Brent looking very nice and healthy and happy, continuing on upwards, so breaking through that flat level and heading a little bit higher. At some point, I would really like it to come back and test that level and give me a re-entry give me an entry opportunity into that trend. And just noting that next level of resistance is coming up pretty soon. So looking at price and expecting that this to provide me with an entry opportunity around one of these key levels. With the global indices looking at Wall Street first, out of the US, price going largely sideways, sitting above that level of resistance and holding there, finding support. I'd like to see a breakthrough and just pull back into the moving averages, but if it chooses to stay there for a couple of days while the moving averages catch up and it just finds that point of equilibrium, that is perfectly acceptable. Looking at the rest of the ones as well, so S&P here just working below that level of resistance there, but also not retracing very far, not pulling back that much at all. And then also the Nasdaq US Tech 100 also going consolidating sideways. So for the moment, certainly makes sense to me to see price go sideways if it wants to tread water and do that. Looking as we head away from the US, also price on the FTSE has now pulled back into the moving averages as well as that previous level of support and resistance. So this is acceptable for me. If I potentially find a setup today, a nice little bullish candle today, I will potentially consider taking a long entry off that swing. And just commenting on the MACD here, the momentum on this looks to be pretty healthy. Fresh highs in price, fresh highs on the MACD here. So therefore a lack of divergence there, that just supporting the idea that trend is looking nice and healthy. Then having a look at Germany 30, the DAX. This one also just below resistance, but actually also not really wanting to come back very much. So there's quite a bit of bullish behavior in those charts. Hong Kong as well, having pulled back testing these levels that were resistance, finding some support here as well. So these candles here, finding a little bit of support at this level and starting to head higher. So already producing a bit of a swing low there and wanting to head onwards. And this being one of the more bearish ones historically. So this one looking nice and bullish, as well as the Australia 200. Also that price action here looking quite nice and bullish against resistance there. So for the most part, I'm expecting these to head sideways and ultimately push on higher today. We'll see. But also noting that the ones towards the end of my watch list, which are usually bearish, are looking nice and bullish. All of this supporting more bullish behavior in the near future. And also then moving on to the selected equities in focus. Amazon here just finding some good support in this area. Price action still heading largely sideways here, so no real breakthroughs there. Netflix, on the other hand, actually starting to head a little bit higher, breaking through its level of resistance and just creeping up. So that all makes sense to me. That one looking like a nice entry long for myself. So quite happy with the way that that's ultimately unfolding. Microsoft as well, breaking through, having broken through its level of resistance and starting to creep a little bit higher. So all of that looking quite good. Boston Scientific, seeing price now potentially coming back to test this level. So already having produced a bullish candle and broken that, so swing low, but also that possibility for a re-entry into this if price does come back and give me a nice bullish candle off this level of support. So for the moment, all of that actually making sense. And then heading on to the more bearish ones historically. What I was talking about yesterday was finding some bullish signals yesterday. So looking here and finding a couple of these candles to look nice and bullish. However, Standard Chartered, for example, I was looking to see if I did find some support here. If price actually found support here, it's broken through. So I want to see how it reacts at the next level, which is heading down a little bit low towards the 600 level. And I'll be looking to see how price reacts at this point. A bullish recovery from this and then breaking through these levels of resistance is perfectly acceptable if in the coming weeks price is going to continue to head a little bit higher. So on that note, ladies and gents, I want to wish you a wonderful day. If it's trending, I'll be there.
Just a reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you want to stay abreast of what's happening in the market, I'll be producing and bringing you the latest in the markets every morning in a freshly produced video.